Right. Good evening, everybody. This is Guru Tompenia for FMA Discussion episode 288. And tonight, we have the pleasure of having Guro Alex Ormaza of Balintawak in Dallas, North California. Hey, good evening, man.
What's up? What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. Had a busy day. How about you?
Doing great. Great day. And that's actually, Tom, that's actually North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina.
Yeah,
What did I say?
You said North California.
Well, at least the CA is there.
Yeah. And it's a late night for you too, so.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that, man. Sorry
No
about
problem,
that.
man. No problem.
Somehow I mess one thing up. Anyway, so yeah, sorry about. So good evening. You got June Occidental saying hi.
My brother.
Suavemente.
Suave.
Hey, you dance salsa?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you got Steve, yo bro, and Tristan.
Awesome.
Right.
Steve's, Tristan,
Right.
good to you guys. Thank you.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Once again, this is FMA Discussion episode 288. And tonight we have a fantastic evening with the opportunity of having Guro Alex Ormaza. So, wherever you're watching, please say hi and say us where you are watching from. And please don't forget to smash the heart button. And if you don't manage to finish the whole interview, or you want to watch the repeat, just please go to our YouTube channel. All right. Okay. Right. Stumpman.
Yeah, that's an inside joke. We did a live Zoom with Grandmaster Bobby, and Steve was I was showing him my Canadian students, and Bobby kept saying, "No, man, you have to stomp your foot," and he meant like his heel, drop the heel this way, but Steve kept lifting his whole leg and stomping. It was just so funny. So that's kind of his nickname now, Stomp Man.
Yeah, it's actually nice to have those like stories and everything, because it makes our experience more rich and enjoyable. Makes it worth. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Sean is here. Hello from Canada. Tell it. Okay. Is this about your question, Sean?
Oh wow, yeah, that was yeah. I guess we're gonna start with the stories. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, for those who don't know you, for those who didn't join us yesterday in the test run, so would you be able to give us again, like, how did you start with your martial arts journey? How did you get into FMA? What brought you into it? Who basically inspired you?
Absolutely, yeah. So I've been a lifelong martial artist. I'm 44 years old. I was born in Colombia, South America, and my family immigrated when I was a baby, and was raised in New Jersey. And I was a very aggressive, kind of hands-on hitting kind of kid, and very energetic. So my mom tells me that while she was pregnant with me, she would see movies of Chuck Norris and be like, "Oh, I hope my son is Chuck Norris one day." Right?
Oh, okay.
So after I was born and all that, she had forgotten about all that. I guess it was just during her pregnancy. But then when I started acting up and really being aggressive towards other people, she was like, "I'm gonna put you in a martial arts program." So I was about 4 years old or so when she put me in a kung fu school in Dunellen, New Jersey, and it was a hardcore little spot. It was the guy that ran it he was a biker, like a Harley Davidson kind of dude.
All right, okay.
Beard. He walked in with his shades on, even though it was nighttime. He still walked in with his shades on, and he was a tough guy. And so I started there, and then I stayed in that program for about a year. Jumped in and out of different martial arts programs until I was about 13. At 13, I joined a school in Piscataway, New Jersey, under Mark Klein, and that's where I was exposed to Filipino martial arts through modern arnis and
Mhm.
jujitsu through small circle jujitsu and some of the Okinawan martial arts as well. And so I was 13 years old. I was like, this is fantastic. I want to do this forever and ever. And little by little, I started really nurturing that vision of opening my own school. So
Mhm.
when I moved to North Carolina in 1996, I started training at this local school where the guy there was under Erwin Carmichael. Erwin Carmichael is one of Grandmaster Bobby's best friends, and he's the man who brought him to America. And so one day we're training in class, and I hear this clack, clack, clack. Like it was just all I could hear was like, that kind of
All
stuff.
right.
And I turn around, and I'm like, what is that? Because
The
I was used
staccato
to,
sound of the sticks.
yeah, I was used to like the flow of modern arnis and that I'd never seen like just a very hard kind of power style, and so I got really curious. I asked what that was, and it turned out to be Tabata Balintuak, and the instructor at the time told me that he was going to be in town in a couple of weeks and do a seminar. So that was my first exposure to Bobby Tabata's Balintuak, and it was life changing. And through the years, I continue to study. That's my I'm a student first and foremost. So I spend a lot of my time training in classical martial arts from
Mhm.
Okinawa. I am a chief instructor for the Shurite Buchitsukai under the guidance of Hanshi Troy Price. And in that organization, we have a wonderful alliance of different styles that include all pretty much a who's who of internal arts, weapons arts, combatives. It's just an incredible conglomerate of martial artists. So I stay fresh with information that comes in. I have a
Mhm.
great platform to also disseminate my information, and it continues to progress through that. Once I was in the Philippines, my first trip in 2019, I met a gentleman by the name of Celestino Macachor from
All
the
right.
de Campo lineage, and he blew my mind with what he was doing and the drills he was doing. So I spent a lot of time with him on that first trip, but it wasn't until my second trip in 2020 that I said, you know what, I'm not going to spend a lot of time training with the other masters. I'm going to go through his program. It was a coach's program that was 24 hours long, I believe it was in total, and it was over 10 days, 4 hours a day, split up, and it was just a phenomenal experience. So we went through the curriculum, and I ended up earning a certified coach with him. So that's my other aspect of Filipino martial arts. But I wouldn't have been able to get through that program if I hadn't had 20 years of training with Grandmaster Bobby Tabata. So he definitely gave me the tools and attributes to be able to adapt to a new system that complemented what I already was doing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my martial arts background. I'm into healing. I love healing arts and internal arts, and it balances my,
Exactly. Yeah.
my spirit. Because when you're, like we were talking about yesterday, when you're always thinking about, you know, as we say, de-animation, right? Killing people, de-animating people, and
It, it,
nurturing the dark side. You have to have a balance, and
it does a lot.
it
Yeah.
does. That's why I
Yeah.
found that energy training and just healing other people helps heal and keep my dark light in check as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I mean, it's one thing that I don't know if people would realize this, that uh, when you basically get to absorb with, like what you said, trying to uh, trying to hit people and basically to harm people, it does quite a lot into your psyche, your emotions, your mindset. It does a lot. So it's actually really important that we find ways to be able to balance our energy as well, our emotions and our psyche. Okay.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
That's
And
right.
you also do uh BJJ, right?
Yes, sir. I've been studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time. I owe my professor a black belt. I've been a brown belt now for 7 years, and I've suffered some injuries in the last several years that have really just curbs my training, and the latest one being I had a ruptured disc
Yeah.
in my cervical spine in my neck, and it's just it's not for everybody, but it is for me. I love grappling, and I was one of those guys in the early '90s where all of my traditional karate friends were like, "Oh, I'll just punch him in the throat or something, I'll just shoot him," and I'm like, that's not how that works. You know,
Exactly,
they can punch
exactly.
you in the throat too, and they can shoot you and do all of that. And
Yeah,
so once I got a taste of the brilliance in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and just understanding grappling like that, because I grew up wrestling. I was a wrestler I did wrestling in elementary school, middle school, and then I started formally training Jiu-Jitsu in high school. And so I was already kind of inclined to grapple, especially like
grappling.
my
Yeah.
body type. But it wasn't until I really started rolling with skillful practitioners that I realized like this is absolutely incredible. Because as a human, we have to, like everyone, especially in America, I'm not sure, just speaking for here in America, we're very big on a brand, right? Like if I'm wearing a polo shirt, like a button shirt like this, and it says Tommy Hilfiger on it, right? But someone else is wearing the same shirt and it doesn't say Tommy Hilfiger on it. Well, then that shirt is no good because it's not Tommy Hilfiger, right? So it's America is very they want brands, like what brand are you in martial arts and that kind of stuff. But I always think in very basic terms. It's a paper, rock, and scissors, right? It's martial arts, paper, rock, scissors. And there's no real one style that's going to trump all of them.
Dominate. Yep.
Although, you know, some come very close. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being one of them. But there's still loopholes, right? So I always thought of martial arts as I need to fill my capacity with striking arts, with grappling arts, with weaponry, with healing arts. Like these are all the facets. So when one of these presents itself, you know, I can come with the answer.
Yes.
Being an absolutist or almost cultish follower of a traditional style. I don't like that. I don't encourage that in my students. I teach them all that they are artists. I'm teaching them to become artists and to express themselves, even though we have basic templates to nurture the seeds so they grow. But in the end, it's up to them how they want to put it together. So
Exactly.
when I studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I was coming back to my karate friends, I'm like, guys, listen, you know, this is not going to work for you if you think you're just going to shoot someone or punch them in the throat or poke them in the eye.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
So that truly opened up my eyes to the grappling world, and I'm blessed to have some great instructors. My first teacher was Sukari Luis Toko, who passed away back in 2007, I believe. And so then hit one of his black belts, Paulo Simani, we call him Mushu. He's my brother, and he always stands by me. And and I know that I owe him a black belt. So one of these days, Paul, if you're watching, I love you, brother. and I got one for you. I promise. It's coming.
Yeah. And picking up on what you said, there are certain times that you can't just basically escalate the situation. Sometimes you can't just punch a person. You need to control the person.
That's a great point.
And that's why you need to have different skill sets to be able to handle it. It depends to be able to basically handle the situation well, depending on the context of the situation and depending the outcome as well of the situation.
Very well said. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So before we continue, we've got Sirat Al Saif. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. We got Ace Ramirez.
What's up, Surat? Thanks, brother. New York in the house.
You've got Jason Ward as well. John Soriano.
Jason, awesome. Very cool.
And Eric Harris is here.
Soriano.
Paulo Rubio is here.
Nice.
Danny Terrell is here as well.
Paulo, what's up, brother? Awesome. Very good. And Danny Terrell, nice. Very cool.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're in for a treat. Let's get it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so when you basically I would say started getting into FMA, what are the attributes that you brought or mindset from karate that you brought to FMA when you started it?
Man, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. So the style of karate that I study is Okinawan karate, in particular the Okinawa Kempo, Oyata Te Ryute lineage. So it's a very old classical style. And in that style, we learn that we move one way and it applies to everything. So whether it's empty hand or a weapon, you move the same. So I already had that in mind when I was learning, the Buchitsukai curriculum, that whether I have this stick in my hand or I put a blade in my hand or an empty hand, it eventually all becomes synergistic. One move has many reasons. So that's like in karate, we call that the Bunkai of Kata. So we look at form, and then we disassemble it, we study it, and then we reassemble it in different fashions to create these combative expressions. So that was the first thing I did was, okay, how can I take my karate skills of understanding, looking at movement, disassembling it, and then studying it in separate pieces, and then reassembling it. And so it helped me to be able to understand the movements a little better.
Yeah.
The second thing was that because of the monotonous training of kata, right? A lot of people shy away from it because it's just all by yourself, and it's a moving meditation, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, level 1 and 2 is almost all exclusively single person drills. It's like kata. It's all these different katas. So for me, I enjoyed it. I'm a kata guy. I love it. It's my platform. So I was comfortable going through level 1 and 2, where, you know, now in retrospect, I see a lot of students struggle to get through levels 1 and 2 because it is a lot of repetitions by themselves or on a bag. And so I was able to break through that a lot easier than most because of my karate training.
Okay. So now that you managed to dive in FMA, let's reverse it. Is there anything from FMA that you managed to bring back as you carry on practicing your classical karate?
Absolutely, my man. It was a game changer. It was a game changer. You know, I was used to, you know, doing drills with hands and at close range, fast. But then when you start doing ballistic drills with a stick flying at your face, and your head,
different feel.
Yes. Now your eyes get smaller and beadier, and you're more focused. Your energy grows. It becomes more intense, and it kills your flinch. Right. You know, it's harder to flinch now than it was before. I was having a stick swinging at my face at full speed.
Yeah, exactly.
So speed and reflex went through the roof. Footwork at close range went through the roof. My in-range power, my understanding of how to leverage the stick for different techniques came back to karate, to now, okay, I can apply this principle from FMA into this armbar or to this wrist lock or this throw. And so, yeah, it just completely rewired my system to where now I was doing my karate a lot more explosive, a lot quicker. My reflexes were through the roof because the drills, the platform is so dynamic and it's really brilliant. The grouping system, the 5 groups that we do in level 3, it really does hammer in these attributes that it's not real fighting, but when you do fight for real, it comes out. It comes out. It just comes out. It's natural. So yeah, it changed all of my martial arts was changed, enhanced because of FMA.
Yeah, I think it's once you get to understand a particular style or a particular martial art that basically deals with weapon, it as you said, it basically rewires the way you move for the empty hand aspect, because you get to understand things in another way, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure. So even like range, timing, it's going to be enhanced as well.
Absolutely, yes. That's another good one. Yeah, definitely. Range, timing, measure, all those. That to this day I still continue to just learn and expand on. It's a one lifetime isn't enough, Tom, but I'm gonna maximize this one. I'm gonna get it around the sun.
Okay. There are some comments here. Okay, I'm gonna start with
Paulo. Stay awake. Drink some coffee. He just came back to Italy. Yeah, he says jet lag.
Paulo said earlier, Estocada de Campo is absolutely stunning. Amazing system.
Good. Yes, I agree.
It's awesome. Now Tristan said here, I love your stick moves. It reminds me of kata.
Very cool. That's right, Tristan. Very good.
Yep. And Steve said Mangtini is an excellent teacher.
Yeah, it's Mangtini. That's Celestini Makacho. His nickname is Tini.
Yeah.
He's so cool. He doesn't want to ever be called Grandmaster.
Yeah, Grandmaster or something. Yeah.
He just says, call me Teeny, or you might get hit in the face.
I'm gonna hit you not just twice, 3 times, and you won't even see it. Don't think.
Right. He's awesome. Teeny. Shout out to I was about to call him Grandmaster. Shout out to Teeny. He's a
Be
an
careful.
person, a phenomenal musician, just a beautiful guitarist, classical guitar player, and just a phenomenal instructor, and a real treasure out of FMA as well.
Yeah. Danny Terrell actually made a good comment here. Awesome. Deconstructing the techniques, understanding movement, and seeing what is available within the movement. That is actually true. That
Yes,
is
that's it.
actually true.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love doing that. It's my brain works that way. I just want to
Yeah,
start
exactly.
and put it back together. Oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like from for example, from a kata, if you basically like break it down, maybe cluster it, be able to understand the concept of application, it allows you to see basically all the what ifs, all the changes in dynamics and everything.
Yes.
So it's almost like not really reverse engineering, but basically like trying to look at it from a different perspective. It's just like Lego.
Yes, you rearrange the pieces. We
Yeah.
actually have a saying in karate that kata is like an alphabet,
Yeah.
and just like an alphabet, if you read it A B C D, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
If you rearrange the letters, now you make words.
Yep.
Those words become sentences, and
Yes.
on and on. So
Yep.
the old style of karate is exactly that. You have
Yeah.
your kata in place, but you're supposed to take it apart and study little pieces and then say, okay, you know what? This move from this kata goes really well with this kata over here.
Mm.
And so let me put these together and see what I can come up with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really, really awesome how that works. And I can show you a quick example of that if you want
Yeah,
to see.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for example, I have my son with me, Santi.
I'm going to lower myself down first.
All right, so this is my son, Santiago, and he's here to help me out for today. So talking about deconstructing kata and applying it to self-defense by taking little pieces, it's the same concept as what I applied to FMA and started deconstructing to understand it. So one of the katas, the traditional kata is called Pinan Sandan, and it's got this elbow cover that comes up this way. And of course, you have in karate, there's a lot of misunderstandings and folklore where it says, all right, you're punching a guy over your shoulder in the face. And, it's like, okay, maybe, right? Maybe, but there's other ways that I can use this elbow. And one of those is to use it as a cover. So if he just goes to punch me in the face, boom, I just cover with that elbow. So that's that cover right there. Now, even though we're in a horse stance when we do it, it doesn't mean that I can't adjust this stance to be more dynamic and actually add that elbow cover. So then there's another piece to the puzzle that's called this. You see this kind of U punch in karate. Sometimes you'll see it short this way. Other times you see it more elongated this way. And so I was like, wait a second. I can do this and start combining these motions. So I added these covers with the elbow, cover, and then all of a sudden you get an application. So for example, if he throws a jab and I cover it, now if he throws that cross, I cover that with that second piece. Now watch, as he pulls it back, there's my technique. So I'm able to come in and seal him off with this here and punch to the jaw. And this consequently is exactly the same thing that we do when we're using our lay-on. So if I come in here, there it is, bang. So we use our lay-on for group 5 to do this punch to the face. This is right out of my karate textbook. So when I started seeing these similarities, right, so let's play a little bit here. Right there, boom, see? Now I'm like, whoa, that's like what we do in karate. So he throws that jab and cross here, boom, there it is. And so that's how my brain started to put things together. Thanks, son. That's how my brain started to put things together from kata bunkai to FMA application. And my brain fired off like, yo, this is what's up right here. So it just fed right into the things that I love to do.
That's a brilliant comparison. Okay, so the same thing in dance, because I teach dance. We basically say from the ABCs, you can basically create words. From words, you can create phrases or sentences.
Yes.
From there, you can create a conversation.
That's spot on.
Same thing with martial arts.
Yes, it is.
Same thing with martial arts.
That's wonderful.
Oh, Paul is here as well.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, I think I interviewed Paul about last year. Is that correct, Paul? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, uh, your journey. Okay. So we basically went through quickly. Okay. Your journey to FMA to martial arts, and basically how they managed to basically um, almost like allowed you to evolve as a martial artist and as a teacher. Okay. And it's basically shows how you manage to like integrate them together. So when you approach it now to your students, you're more encompassing in the way you explain things, and you manage to approach things with them.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
It helps with the pedagogy of
Yeah,
teaching. That when you can just strip it down and make it to where it's clear and concise, and then
exactly.
slowly layer it back together till it's complete. As a teacher, I do a better job for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, with the with the teachers that you've mentioned earlier on, from karate to Balintawak, and with Manong Tini for the campo, um, can you cite like I would say memorable moments with them, like moments where basically your light bulb basically just basically click like that. All right. Like any I would say like points of wisdom that you manage to carry on from these instructors.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, the epiphanies are
You can get to the side stories if you want to.
so it's that's a really great question. That's an in-depth question. It's I've had so many wonderful influences in my life and teachers. It's tough to kind of isolate things, but just kind of shooting off the hip. So one of them is one of my great mentors by the name of Hanshi Ridgely Abel, who is Hanshi Troy Price's teacher. And Hanshi Ridgely Abel passed away not too long ago. And actually, yeah, it's been, see, time flies by. I think it's been almost 10 years now. And he was just a very, very bright and sage man, extremely talented in his martial arts, so a karate guy, and raised a tremendous foundation of black belts, with Troy Price being one of them, and Tommy Hood, so Troy Price is phenomenal martial artist. He's my brother, my best friend, my guardian angel, as I call him often. And so I live a lot of Hanshi Abel's lessons through him, even though I got to spend a lot of time with Hanshi Abel. So one of the biggest ones for me was the abundance theory. There's enough for everybody. So he would always, like, if someone new went to open a school here in town and they came to visit me first, I would encourage them. I would show them everything that I do. I would show them my curriculum. I would show them my class schedule. I would show them my operations manual. I would say, whatever you need, I'm here for you. We're not in competition.
Yeah.
There's enough for everybody. This is the abundance theory. So that was a very humbling way to instill in me that, suppress your ego. Don't ever try to put anyone else down, and instead bring them in. Hey, you're welcome. Let's do this. And so when I fast forward to Bobby Tabata's our opening ceremony, we say from our heart,
Yeah.
you're welcome with respect. So it's a very similar kind of mindset where all these grandmasters get to a certain level of enlightenment, and they all start saying very similar things.
Yes.
And so that was a huge one from Hanshi Abel and Mr. Price, and of course Bobby. One of the things that I remember Teeny talking to us a lot about is that he's like, I don't want a cult. I don't want paper champions. He's like, the centerpiece of Estocada Campo is sparring. Spar, work the drills and that, let that speak for itself. And if you get hit, good, you're learning. Just like because he's also a big, let's say, supporter of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he's like, hey, how are you going to get better if you don't tap out a bunch of times in class? If you're not
Exactly.
tapping out, you're not
Exactly.
learning. And same
Yeah.
thing, if you're not getting hit, you're not learning. In karate, if you're not sparring and getting hit, you're not learning. So,
Mhm.
so all these guys end up kind of saying the same thing where, there's enough for everybody. Stop trying to compare yourself to
Yep.
people.
That's true.
Don't put people down, and be humble, and just train. Just work hard. Train hard. And so I think that's collectively, that's the energy and wisdom I've gotten from my teachers. I had the privilege and honor of training under Taika Seiyu Oyata, who's also passed away, and phenomenal, legendary martial artist. One of the last to come from Okinawa and study from some of the retired bushi or warriors that used to work for the palace. And he would say some amazing things. Very philosophical kind of guy. So his take on humility was, like making mistakes and stuff. He would call me Alex, or Tattoo Man, I kill you. He would say it like that. So he'd be like, Tattoo Man, even monkeys fall out of trees. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
Again, back to that humility, that humbleness of just learn, train, make mistakes, keep growing. So that was a very memorable thing that he said has stuck with me forever and ever. So I feel like collectively it's just they all say the same things once they get to a certain level of enlightenment, which gives me hope that regardless of the path you take to the top of the mountain, once you get there, you're there, and you're a part of that collective experience.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's actually the points that you shared with us. They're very important in especially when you're growing in FMA. All right. Especially within the community, within the industry, those are important learnings as well. Wisdom that
Yes.
everybody needs to ponder, to consider as well.
For sure. Even with Grandmaster Bobby, one of his things is, and I'm sure everybody's heard it before, but it's, are you ready to accept the pain? And so we were talking about it yesterday, of course, but for our viewers now, when I first was, real brief synopsis, I was training with another instructor his name is Louis Grady. And Louis Grady was one of Bobby Tabata's FQI. He's built like a power forward in the NBA. He's like 6'3", 6'4", something. Wow. Very tall man, extremely dynamic. He's a career military guy. At the time he was done with military. He was teaching under Richard Bustillo, the IMB program.
Yeah.
And he at one of the camps, he invited me to come train with him personally. And I was like, that'd be great. And he's like, all right, be at my school at 4:30. I'm like, 4:30 p.m. I have class. No, he's like 4:30 a.m. I'm like, okay. So his dojo was like 45 minutes away from mine. So I had to wake up extra early to be there. So I did this 2 times a week with him, 1 to 2 hour private lessons. And he was raw, just awesome, super fast. He allowed me to learn how to do floating footwork to keep up with his range. And so that was a huge advantage later when training with other people that were taller. I was quick to get in and out. So Louis Grady and Bobby Tabata parted ways amicably. Everything's still great, but there's he wanted to pursue different things. And so he asked Grandmaster Bobby if he would take me under his wing. And at the time I was only a level 2. So I was just a level 2. And so Bobby invited me to his house, and man, I was so nervous just walking up the driveway because he's got a long hill, not long, but a steep little driveway, and I'm walking up this drive. I'm like, oh man. So I get there, and he's like, Ormaza, come inside. Thanks for coming. And he welcomes me into his garage. His garage was turned into like his training floor. That's like the video footage you see is in his garage. That was the training floor. And so I walk in, and he just turns around, and he gets really close, and he goes, okay, man, I'm going to train you, but are you ready to accept the pain? So me being from New Jersey, right, like stuff like that will make you giggle. I don't know if it's a weird reflex or what. So I just chuckled. I was like, really? And he's like, I'm like, excuse me, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. I am. in my head, I'm going, holy shit, he's really serious. Like, what did I just get into? And so he didn't crack us nothing. He was dead. And when you look at him, he's got that emotionless look. It's unnerving. He's just got that look. So the rest is history, man. He took me through, because he normally doesn't do that. He normally just takes students that were either level 6,
yeah,
or level, like higher level, but he trusted Lewis Grady,
yeah.
to refer me to him, and I'm forever grateful to Lewis Grady for that opportunity, and to Grandmaster Bobby for believing in me and giving me his time to prepare me to be an FQI under him. It's a real honor.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Before I get back into that, I might miss out all these comments. Okay. So Matthew Lawrence, hello. Happy to tune in to the stream. Thank
Nice,
you.
thanks, Matthew.
Yeah. Terry Hoven from Stockton says hi.
Oh, Stockton in the house, awesome.
Yeah. Paulo said Celestino Macature actually means it.
He does. He really does. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Dupont says amen. Danny Terrell says, oh man. And some of the best training I ever had was in garages.
Yeah, exactly. Garages. There's something about a garage. Like, look at Paulo's garage, Rubio's garage. There's magic that happens in that garage.
Then you got Judy Pearl. And Rob Pagan is in the house as well.
Awesome. What's up, Rob?
Yeah, that's the magic. You are blessed to experience the training with GM Bobby.
I really am. I really am. You know, I'll tell you guys a story. The first time I went to the Philippines was in 2019 during the Russian House in the Philippines, FMA and World Slot Training Camp. And this is something that's spearheaded by Alex Pisarkin primarily, and a lot of his senior constituents and teachers like Renee Tongson and those guys there. And it's a fabulous experience. It's well run, well organized, and it's truly like a dream-like experience where he gets all of these masters together to teach over all these days. So, you know, when you spend a lot of time with someone, let's say that's famous, right, well known or something, you forget that because they're just your friend. You know, you go, I just had coffee with you this morning, kind of friend. You know, so you forget who they are sometimes. You know, and it's and it's natural. So one of I want to say that the quintessential moment when I truly realized, I don't want to say realized because I knew that, but I had maybe forgotten. The magnitude of Grandmaster Bobby's worldwide influence was when I was in his hometown of Cebu. And he comes out of the elevator and all of these incredible Balintawak masters are already there. We're talking about the Casios, right, with red Balintawak. You had nickel stick Balintawaks. You had all the whole crew. We had Maranga was there. It was just a who's who. Then you had Makbagal was there. All these just incredible Tini. I mean, it was just a who's who of people. So he comes out of the elevator, and it's just right before that, everyone's like, it's like, I was like, whoa, dude, that was awesome, man. It was like, you know, again, like when a lion comes out into the field and just starts walking around, all the other animals stop what they're doing and they just watch the lion walk, and they're just like, there he is, that's the man. And so that's when I was like, wow, to see that level of respect from his peers who are in themselves legends. That's when I was like, whoa, like that's heavy. That's heavy. They respect him so much that it was very humbling to see, because, you know, his Grandmaster Bobby's is a self-made, self-educated person who came from poverty, who would sweep the grounds of the Velez family just to pay for lessons. And he's the guy that would tell everybody, watch, I'm gonna take Balintawak around the world, and they would just look at him like, yeah, whatever. You're the young poor kid. What are you gonna do? And look, he did. He brought
Mm.
Balintawak around the world. He
Yeah.
heightened FMA in people's eyes around the world. So
Mm.
when I got to see him in his own city, surrounded by his own peers who are also legends in there, and the respect that they gave him, that really drove home how special my relationship is with him, how lucky and blessed I am to have been able to train with him, and it just made me, just love him more. He's like grandpa. We love grandpa and everything he's done, and we see it. We see the fruits of his
Yeah.
work around the world.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, GM Bobby is really huge. Even here in Europe, he is a huge figure here.
It's amazing, right? He goes from
Yeah.
nothing to everything. He literally took it around the world. It's incredible. His story is amazing. I will tell it forever. His legacy will live on for many, many generations.
So okay. So uh, while training with GM Bobby, did you experience at one point wherein I don't know you're about to give up because you can't figure out a particular maybe technique or lesson, or you're just basically like I would say not low mood or something, like you're not in your best self during that time. How did he manage to actually turn it around for you?
Woo! Yeah, there's a couple of those moments. So one of the things that I was always prideful of is not having failed any of my martial arts exams ever in my life. I always over prepared, and I made sure that this was not failure was not an option. I am
Yeah.
going to pass my tests, right? Bobby, on the other hand, he has no problem checking anyone's ego in front of anybody whatsoever. You could be his demonstration partner, and there'll be 200 people right behind you. And if you make a mistake, he'll call you out and he will humble you right on the spot, right? So my first experience with that was with a stick. I realized I was like, all right, I want to get faster because these guys are fast. So what do I need to do? I'm going to get a lighter stick. I'm going to get the skinniest, whippiest little freaking stick I can find, and I'm going to train it. So that thing's going to be like, zip, 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 zip. And
Yeah.
like, wow, Ormaza's so fast. So I went to, it was the day of my level 3 test. And I went to one of the Balintawak ladies by the name of Wendy Weeks, a phenomenal martial artist. She's not active anymore, but she's still, we still communicate through Facebook and stuff. But she was one of the original badasses. Her and Guro Sharon Leparo, my gosh, just phenomenal women of Balintawak. And so I go visit her that morning, 5 a.m. because again, I over prepare for a test. I'm not failing my
Okay.
test. So I show up, I got my stick, training, zip, 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 zip. So then we go to the seminar, 9 a.m. So he goes, Ormaza, you lead warm-ups. I'm like, yes, sir. So I grab, I'm gonna say this was my noodle stick, but it was really, really thin, right? Like the multi-node. So here I am like this, like 12 basic strikes, full control, at basic form. I'm like so into it. He asked me to lead the warm-ups and with level 1, and everyone stand behind me. And he's over there standing looking at me like this. So I feel it, right? I feel it. I look. And of course, he wasn't talking to me or looking at me, right? So I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm like, it's not me. And then he's like, what's that, man? I'm like, again, looking over my shoulder. Who's he talking to? Ormaza, what is that? I'm like, what's... And he comes over and he grabs my stick and he looks at it and goes, what's this, man? What's this? And he goes like this. He goes, wee, wee, wee. He's like, get that out of here, man. And throws it to the side. I'm like, oh, no. So he goes over to his bag and he grabs a stick out of his bag and he gives it to me. He says, this is your stick. You use this one. I said, yes, sir. So I ended up burning patterns into it. It was just a plain rattan stick, but this is the actual stick. And
Oh, wow.
it's so much heavier than what I was working with for like 2 months. So literally right after level 1, my arm is toast. It was like going
Mm,
from like working with like 5 pounds to 15-pound dumbbell, right? You could only do a couple curls. You're like, oh crap,
exactly. Yeah.
same thing, right? So I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna fail this test. I'm gonna screw this test up. So we went through the whole training camp. It was from like 9 to 2 p.m. with a 1 hour lunch break somewhere in there, and then it was time to test. So I'm looking at my little stick and I'm like, I'm not touching that stick ever again. I'm gonna get killed if I do. So my gosh. So here I am, and he's like, Ormaza, everybody's ready to go. So I just want you to do shadow fighting, and then we'll do group, then we'll do level 3. So I said, yes, sir. So I start with shadow fighting, which is like a kata, right? So it's got like
Mm.
something hits. So I'm like, down, down, up, center, blah, blah, blah. I get to the end, and he's like, you missed one. I was like, oh. Do it again. I'm like, yes, sir. Down, down, up, center. And I go, and I launch my stick through the ceiling. The freaking stick went flying out of my hand, hit the ceiling. And it was one of those panels, so it just started snowing. And I'm just standing there staring at it. And the 3 rules of Buchitsukai are: you cannot curse during your
Yep.
test, you cannot bust up your partner or hurt them,
Yep.
and you cannot drop your stick. I not only dropped it, I slung that thing through the ceiling. Boom! I failed my first test in front of Grandmaster Bobby Tabata, and it crushed me. It was crushing again because I'm the over preparing kind of dude.
Yeah.
It really crushed me. So he's like, "Oh man, you know the rules. We try again next time. Okay, let's go eat." And I'm crushed. I'm like, "Gah, gah." So what I ended up doing was I told myself, like, you know what? I'm gonna take this stick and I'm gonna personalize it because I like to do burn patterns and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take this stick and I'm gonna test with it every single time, all the way through my level 7 test. So when I did my level 7 test in 2010, I became a full qualified instructor and I retired this stick. So I never used it again.
So that
Yes.
stick is really memorable for you now.
Yes. So that was my first super humbling experience with him and in martial arts in general. But he in general, he'll check you, So if you're feeling froggy and trying to maybe flex on him, he'll humble you real quick. And he still to this day does stuff that I've never seen before. Have to take where did that come from? And he's got a real knack for. He'll look at your 24 techniques, the ones you have to create to become an instructor, and he'll say, "Let me see that again. One more time. Okay, do it slow. Okay, one more time fast. Okay, got it." What we didn't know was that he was already planning the counter to the counter. So he's already working ahead. When we go to do it to him, he's already pam, pam, pam.
Yeah.
Stick on, you're getting punched in the rib, punched in the face, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's already one step ahead of you guys.
yeah. So yeah, that's
Right, Sean said. So that's how you got so fast.
actually, it wasn't. That's not how I got fast. That wasn't. I'll tell you how I got fast. And this is a kamagong.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I want to share with you guys is because I get that a lot. It's like, how'd you get so fast? And I train with a really heavy stick. This stick in particular is a product of Bobby Tabata's salesman skills. All right.
Okay.
So I get a phone call. Ormaza, hey Bobby, how you doing? I'm good, man. You have kamagong? Kamagong? What's I don't think what's kamagong? You don't know what kamagong is, man? It's an original combat stick, Philippines. Very heavy, dense. I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, man. So that's what you fight with, kamagong. It's like, wow, sounds amazing. Okay, man, $80. I got 2. Come get it now.
Man, that's good.
I was like, yes, sir. So I drove all the way to Charlotte, and sure enough, I brought $80. Here's this. The sale happened. He's like, okay, see you later. I'm like, okay.
How can you turn it down?
Yeah. So that's how I end up with my Kamagong. So this particular one, I put a tennis grip on it.
Tennis grip, yeah,
It gets slick when it's heavy.
yeah.
But it's really heavy. So I go through all of my level 1 and level 2 techniques with Kamagong or big stick. And in practicality, if I'm going to pick up something off the street that's worthy enough to be used like a stick, it's got to be really heavy. It's not going to be like a normal rattan light stick.
Yeah.
My mind's always thinking, like, if I'm really going to hit somebody with a stick that's worth it, it's got to be a heavy stick or like a pipe or a crowbar, something like that. So I always keep that in mind. So I do a lot of drills where it's just all basics, fundamentals, right? The ABCs with a heavy stick. But then when it's time to do demonstrations or go to seminars, then I bring my light sticks with me so that it's really
that's true.
it feels good and it looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the secret, Sean.
It's actually the same approach that Roger Agbulos of Astiglameco.
Okay.
Yeah. With his training, he calls basically the Big Daddy. So heavy sticks.
I love it. The Big Daddy.
The Big Daddy. So whenever now he goes in, when he spars and everything, and he uses like a lighter stick or padded stick, he's just fast.
Yes. And it works. Yeah, it works. It works great. So as long as I don't lose that edge where if I, where I get a big heavy stick and I start to move slower, I don't like it. So I spend more time. I always keep that edge sharp to make sure that it's combat ready. Anytime I need to, if I ever have to grab something heavy and swing it, it's gonna be relevant to my training.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we've managed to talk about like how FMA managed to like improve like your karate, but this time let's talk about your BJJ. So how did FMA manage to improve your BJJ and vice versa?
So I probably have an unpopular opinion about a few things when it comes to that. One of them is I don't like grappling with a stick. I think it's stupid. Like, why am I going to? Once I'm down there, my hands are more valuable with what they can do than with one hand free and the other one trying to rake and butt and try to trap and choke. And I can do all of that. I have two sticks right here.
That's true.
These are my sticks. So a lot of times when I see things like grappling with a stick, and I just think it's kind of silly. Now, grappling with a blade is a whole different
story. Yes,
that is very valuable and applicable. So for BJJ and blade work from Buchitsukai, that's where now I start to see how I can synergize them to help me get through certain scenarios. But overall, I just I don't see how, if I have a stick and it turns into a grappling situation, why I should keep it. Now, with all that being said, I try. Like, for example, when we do testing and Jim Bobby whispers in my ear, "Take him down, man." Right. So this is normally like during the or during the gauntlet of feeding a new level 7 or a new level 6 guy. We're really level 7. He lets us hit him and he lets us grapple him and he lets us try to disarm them. So one of the challenges is always to take him down. So because he knows my background, he's like, he'll take him down, man. So yes, sir. So I start feeding, all of a sudden, bam, I take him down and I start working. And my goal is to keep my stick, but to disarm their stick. And so I play along. But if it was outside, like let's say out of context, then if I had a stick and we end up fighting on the ground, I would most likely abandon my stick and resort to using my just grappling, grappling. So, but jiu-jitsu also, like, you got to think like you have throws and sweeps and takedowns and things like that. So all that is also applicable. So it's not just ground fighting. So jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's true.
So a lot of people will be like, well, there's no blade work in Buchitsukai, and I say, well, you're right. There really isn't. We train with one stick and that's it. But what people don't understand is that all of it is the same. So if I have a stick, a blade, or my hands, It's all the same.
It's all the same, yes.
Yeah, I'll show you guys what I mean.
All right, cool. Shall I lower myself down?
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so for example, in karate, like if let me actually get some real quick so I can show you what I mean. So like, let's say if I have a bow, right? And I do this move here, boom, and then that. I'll show you from the side. So I come up this way, and then I come this way, right? So without that, it looks like this, here and then here, right? So just put the stick down for a moment. So whether I'm using an actual bow to fight with or not, my hands move the same. So let's say he goes to do a two-hand push, and I go, boom, and this comes up and hits him in the throat. It's just a finger jab. This can be an uppercut. And all I'm doing is just bringing the arms up and hitting from here. And that's that first move with the bow. Then with the bow, I roll to strike this way. Well, I come in this way, boom, and I roll, and then I do an arm bar. So it's the same thing. I'll go slow so you can see what that's all about. So he goes to push, I angle out, boom, I hit right into the throat. And then as his arms start to retract, I roll, and there's my roll, and then I arm bar. And I'm able to take him down. So it's the same move, boom, boom, right? So then when we take it to stick fighting, learning Buchitsukai, we learn one stick. If you're a lefty, you learn righty, and later you teach your left. So that's how Bobby teaches lefties. He goes, I teach your right, you teach your left. So shout out to Dr. Patrick, Guro Dr. Patrick, Senior FQI for Bobby Tabata. When you guys see him in action, he's using his right hand. He's actually a lefty, and he's phenomenal with both hands. So that's a tribute to the curriculum and how that works. So back to the concept. We learn one stick, and that's it. But everything we do translates to blade and empty hand, like my karate training. So for example, we play a little bit of grouping here. Okay, then we take that away. And now we play the same way. To make it fun, we go blade on blade. But again, if we're going to be real about it, all of these moves are cutting and chopping into the bone. I'm trying to hit and splinter into the bone. So not so much slicing, which we also do that, but it's more of like a hack into the bone. But we play blade on blade. See, blade on blade. Same moves, different application, different tool. No stick, no blade, all good. Same. Thanks, my man. So hang tight for a moment. So what happens is this. The jiu-jitsu connection, which is what you were asking about, we start looking for moments to create takedowns. So for example, off the 12 here, as he punches back to the face, I can disappear under. Boom. Strike to the groin. Anytime you strike to the groin, you're extracting human nature. You get a little bit of response like that. So here, he punches high, I cover, boom, I go low. Now I'm set up to do my Ippon Seonagi. Snake this arm here, application. So if I put that together with a little bit of flow, same thing for taking their back. So anytime we're going to do let's say group 1, which is lifting and clearing. He lifts, clears. Now, anytime he goes to lift my hand, I'm able to use my turn takedown from here and scrape the head, hit the face. 1 second. Right there. See, so I come up, I strike into the scapula, hit the shoulder or the jaw, turn. I use my own stance to hold him up. Scrape, scrape, shot to the top of the head. Same on when I do my punch technique. Here, he defends as he comes back. Now, I have my fireman's turn. So all these entries come from the platform of the grouping where an opportunity presents itself and I can apply a karate a throw or a karate lock, that kind of stuff.
Nice demo. It's a nice way basically to explain how you can like segue it from your grouping to whatever you want to happen next.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. There are some comments here. Eugene.
Oh, Nipponge, my man.
Eugene said, "Yeah, SGM Alex Ormaza, you are very fast and handsome, but scary."
I'm trying to keep up with you, brother.
Robert Robinson, awesome. Love the way you explained how GM Bobby teaches lefties. Hondo.
Yeah. Awesome. It's true. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Morning.
Nice. Ormaza. Okay.
My brother.
I said that's how you do. Okay. Tristan said scary. Emmanuel Hart, the pliable puzzle piece. Wonderful to see.
Yes, they're very good. Absolutely. Thanks, Emmanuel.
Yep. And Paul said, woohoo.
Thank you.
Danny said good stuff. It's when I first started learning lightning, that's the same way that my instructor told me to do. Because I'm a lefty. Okay. So he said, well, learn it from your right side and then teach it to your left.
Wow, man. Maybe it's a Filipino thing. I don't know. But you know what? Actually, I don't know how true this is. I think it might be true, mostly true. But according to tradition, same thing with the samurai. It was very rare to have a lefty samurai, if at all. I don't.
That is true. That is true. Because during before Filipino martial arts, I was practicing Aikido, and we did a huge amount of Iaido and Iaijutsu Kenjutsu with Aikido. Yeah, and even though I was a lefty, I was actually never allowed to hold.
So like there you go. So you validated that. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. There's no lefty. Maybe one or two, but they still teach it right side.
That's true.
For me, it was good anyway, because when I teach, I'll be teaching predominantly right-handed people. So I need to make sure that I learn it from my right side as well.
That's right.
When I did fencing, that's the same thing. I was practicing drills with people who are right-handed.
Wow.
So I have to learn it from my right hand as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So when you see Dr. Patrick Schmidt, he's a lefty and he's incredible. I would say he's probably the fastest escrimador out of the FQI stable of Tabata. His speed is incredible, very dynamic, very powerful. Very powerful. The Australian guys, shout out to Garth. They're very powerful practitioners. When they throw punches, they're punching through you. Like it's real. Like it's whoa. When they're throwing strikes, you have to make sure you're your mechanics are on point and that you have.
Yeah. Otherwise.
Yes, it's a very. I respect that a lot. And then of course, when Dr. Patrick puts the stick in his left hand, then it's like, wow. So very, very impressive.
Yeah. When you show the knife stuff, it's actually the same way that Rich Cotterill
Nice.
basically brought out the knife concept or knife evolution of Balintawak when he gave that seminar to us. So
Okay, yeah, it's all part of the family tree for sure.
yeah, so that was good stuff. Yeah, yeah, brilliant,
Awesome.
brilliant. Okay. Oh, Steve said, "My hero."
Thanks. Let me give you 2 stumps for that one. Ready? That was for you, Steve.
Yep. Okay. So, are there any? Oh, I want to get into Sean's question. What's that Bantayan? Is it Bantayan thing?
Yeah, Bantayan Island. Yeah.
Bantayan Island. What happened there?
Oh, whoo. All right. So when I'm teaching my martial arts classes, I always say that the one skill that you will almost guaranteed to use before you die, and you do it often, is the art of falling, breaking the fall, right? Ukemi. So
Yeah.
learning to fall is paramount. I'm a lifelong skateboarder. I've been skateboarding since I was 8 years old. I'm 44 now, and I still skateboard regularly. And so I've learned to fall really well, not just through martial arts, but in actual application through my skateboarding ventures. Now, of course, nowadays I don't do anything crazy. I'm just more of an enthusiast and have fun and skate. But when I was in my teens and early 20s or mid 20s, I was still, hucking myself down 10, 15 stairs and big guy and doing all these big things. And I really did have to learn how to fall well. So fast forward to 2019, Bantayan Island, first trip at the Russian house in the Philippines. We all rented little motor scooters. So it was like an army of us, like 15, foreigners. All over the island, man. and everyone's cheering.
I can just imagine you there.
Oh my gosh. And of course, some of us are like really big dudes, so like Sean Zerger's a big dude. So, all the Filipinos like, wow, it's so big. So we're just cruising, having the best time of our lives, just really, really soaking it all in. At one point, we ran out of gas. One of our friends, I think it was Jonathan Pang. So shout out to Jonathan Pang, who's a phenomenal martial artist, a professional stuntman, and he really made the experience at both Russian camps excellent because he was the partner to all of the masters. So he moves well, receives well. He's an awesome guy. So he ran out of gas, and we're in the middle of nowhere. We're like, what do we do? So there's this little bodega, like a little shop, like a little hut, and we're like, you don't happen to have any gasoline, do you? And he's like, yeah, of course. And he takes over to these like Coca-Cola liter bottles, and they're filled with gas. So we're buying gas out of a Coca-Cola bottle in the middle of nowhere. So we fill up the motorbike, and then we take off again. So we're cruising there. It was awesome. And then up ahead on the left, there was a basketball court, and there's a bunch of kids playing basketball.
All right.
So we're probably cruising, I don't know what it is in kilometers, but probably like about 30 miles per hour. So we're cruising, and all of a sudden the basketball bounces in like ahead of me, but right across the street.
Yeah.
So I didn't slow down because it went over to the other side. So as the ball went that way, I was looking to my left to make sure none of the kids were going to chase it.
Yeah.
When I look back, I see the ball had bounced off the tree back into the road and right under my front tire.
Oh.
And I tell you that I did some ninja shit. That was straight ninja shit. It was insane. Of all the things, my front wheel literally hit it like spot on. And I let go of my handlebars. I dove off the pegs over the handlebars.
Forward roll.
I did a forward roll. I was like this. I was like, boom. The kids are crying. They're like, "Ah!" People are stopping. Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So they start lifting my shirt and my
Yeah.
pants. They're like, I'm like, nothing happened. Oh my gosh, I'm good. I'm good. And they're like, wow. So one of the guys from France was behind me, and he's like, I can't believe what I just saw. He's like, you were like a ninja, man. You went flying, bro, and turn around like what? That was what. So that's why Sean calls it. That I was doing my trial for being a stunt double. Man, I drove. All right, so I got there. The handlebars were like this. I drove home with the handlebars this way. I felt so bad, man. The guy was upset, and you know, again, shout out to Alexander Pisarkin. He just reached in his pocket and said, "Here you go, man." I gave him some money for the damage to the handlebars, and he's like, "It's okay, Ormaza. I'm glad you're okay. Go have a beer." I walked away. That was a miracle. I walked away without any major injury whatsoever, and that was day one on the island.
Day one.
Day one.
Day one.
It would have ruined everything, man. It would have ruined the whole trip.
The thing is, I mean, your instinct kicked in.
Yes. Oh, it absolutely. There's no thinking. It was just like,
yeah, exactly.
And I abandoned ship. I was like, I'm gonna dive over the bars.
Yeah.
I felt the everything's like slowed down. It was like doof. I was like, oh. I just rolled, man. It was awesome, man.
That's right. You were in Matrix dimension then.
It was nuts, man. It was that was a crazy time for sure.
Okay. All right. So there you know, guys. That's the Bantayan incident.
Yeah. I had my GoPro for 80% of the time filming, and I had just put it away. Literally like 3 minutes. Yeah, like 3 minutes before that accident happened. I just put it away. So I almost got it on video.
Dang.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Could have been a video sensation, man. Yeah. Okay. Sean said yes. I think he said that it was Alvin.
Oh, it was Alvin that ran out of gas. That's right. It was Alvin. Shout out to Alvin Guinanao from the UK, man. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I've met him once.
Oh, good.
Because there was one time we were doing a seminar on self-defense, on knife defense, and he was doing a seminar on Bukalingkaran on the other room. Nice. So he was like, okay.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have been talking like through Facebook.
Okay.
Via Facebook messengers and everything, and then it just turned out that okay, right there, you're just on the other side. So we basically grabbed food after both our seminars.
Nice.
And
yeah.
took the train out of London after that. Okay, Chad Bailey is on the house.
Whoa, what's up, Guro Chad?
And GM Bram Frank as well. My regards to both of you.
My man Bram, that's a special dude. I really, really love that guy, man. I just exchanged with him in last year at the Modern Arnis Remy Priestess Memorial Training Camp up there in Pennsylvania. It was hosted by Michael Bates, and I was one of the feature instructors, and so was Bram. And so I was honored, like, wow, I've seen him in magazines. I've heard all about him, but never met him personally. And I got to spend some quality time with Bram. And just his heart is really big, really awesome, brilliant, man, very brilliant, soft-spoken, and highly skilled. So it's a friendship that I really enjoyed making, and I look forward to see him again. So shout out to Bram Frank. You're the man, bro. The Bramp. It's awesome.
Yeah. I met him in the Philippines during the Philippine Martial Arts Hall of Fame. That might be like 2018 or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. So very, very humble guy.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, very humble guy. Yeah. So you is there anything that you want to share with regards to stories or anything with GMs and everything, your journey, before I move on to like you as a professional instructor and a martial arts gym owner before I get into that side.
Sure. So obviously, there's so many stories that you acquire through travels and stuff. One of the blessings that I've had is being a professional teacher. I've been able to first and foremost afford to travel and visit instructors and have experiences like that. Along with that comes meeting people that you end up befriending, and they end up taking you under their wing, and so they end up opening doors for you, and so more experiences are created. And so I've done a lot of traveling. I've done a lot of learning and teaching, and
Is that me? Frozen. Oh. Right. So guys, I don't know what happened. Let's just wait for Alex to come back. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Okay. But while we're waiting for Alex to come back, well, thank you guys for watching this episode with Alex. I'm having I'm having a fantastic time interviewing him. I do hope you are too. Oh, he said they just experienced a power surge in their building. Okay, so while waiting for Alex, so just as a reminder, on the I think on the 15th of May, we are going to have the raffle for the Ukraine charity. Okay, and thank you for those who have already donated for this charity raffle that we started in April. Okay, and I think we managed to raise almost $900, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. He's back.
I'm back.
Yay! You're back, man. You're back.
There was so much awesomeness that the lights went out. All right, I connected to my hotspot now, so we shouldn't have that issue anymore. So sorry, guys. Sometimes in this area of the town, we get power surges, and unfortunately, that's what just happened. So yeah, so yeah, all right. So telling you about how I'm accumulating a lot of stories over the years through travels and things like that. So one of the the craziest stories I've ever encountered was learning about the Filipino culture and how it's not good to tell a Filipino master that you want to exchange ideas.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because Bobby says, if I don't like your idea and you don't like my idea, we're going to have to fight to find whose idea is good. so, so one time, this guy calls, and I'm going to leave out some names for,
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
But this guy calls Jim Bobby and says, "Hey, Bobby, I'm at a bus station. Can you come pick me up? I want to exchange ideas." And he's like, "What?" And this other guy was, a Filipino martial artist, and I think he's originally from here, America. But so he's like, "Call me back in 10 minutes." So he calls one of his trusted guys that lives in Charlotte. Bobby does, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "This guy called me, man. He wants to exchange ideas. I don't want to." Doesn't he know, man? I don't want to kill nobody. This is bad. We don't exchange ideas. And he's going crazy, right? So our friend was like, "Bobby, calm down. It's okay." So he's like feeling like he's in the Philippines when he was younger. And, so he's like, "Just go pick him up and be nice." He's like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know." He's like, "Just go pick him up." So he picks up the guy from the bus stop and he brings him back to his house.
Yeah.
And so, I'm like, so he's telling me this story like the next day. And I'm like, "What? You picked him up?" It's like, "How'd it go?" He's like, "Oh man, not good." I was like, "Oh." So the guy, so he's like, "Okay, man, what do you want to show me? What do you want to show me?" So the guy grabs 2 sticks first and starts twirling fast, like, and Bobby's like, kind of imitating the guy. He's like, the guy just started going, and I'm like, "Okay, anything else?" So the guy's like, What do you do with 2 sticks, Bobby?" He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll show you, man." So Bobby grabs 2 sticks and he tells the other guy to show him again his twirls. While the other guy's twirling, Bobby takes 1 stick, throws it at him, and blows out his 2 front teeth. Pow! Teeth go to the ground, and as his teeth are flying, Bobby says, "I see his teeth come out," and at the same time, I go, and I swing my stick real fast by his head. I go, he's like, "That's what I do with 2 sticks, man. clean up that mess." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, "I don't want to go to jail. I don't know, man." He's like, I'm like, "Oh, sorry." He's like, "It's always okay. You hit first and then later say sorry." So I'm like, "Bobby, his teeth are on the ground." He's like, "Yeah, man, his teeth everywhere, blood everywhere." I was like, "Whoa." So this will tie into another crazy story. But the first thing this guy says was, how come Ormaza have a bad attitude when I disarm him?" Bobby's telling me this. He's like, "So you know this guy?" I was like, "That's who you're talking about?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." He said you have bad attitude that he go to your dojo and he disarm you and you got mad. And I was like, "What? No." I was like, no. So I'll circle back to that one in just a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
So here I am. I'm telling Bobby, like, "No, that's not how it happened." But please continue. So he's like, "Oh man, I took him back to the bus station. His teeth were in a napkin." I was like, "Was he mad?" He's like, "No, he wasn't mad." And he's like, "So we stopped exchange ideas pretty quickly." Right. So then years later, I'm at the World Camp, one of the World Camps here in Charlotte, and I ran into one of our friends who's a Balintawak practitioner, really skilled. And I'll leave his name out as well because I didn't talk to him first, but he's a lawyer, right? So he's telling us how he's like, this one time, man. We were just talking about how like Bobby's just the real deal. Like he's just the real deal. He's like, "Yeah, man, this one time," and he's looking around. He's like, "I don't know if I should be telling you this, but he's doing this right here." And he's like, he called me and he said, "You got to come to my house right now." I was like, "What?" So he gets to his house. He's like, so I get to his house and there's blood all over the floor. I was like, so in my head, I'm going, "Whoa, so you know this too?" Because I hadn't told anybody. This was all like, we didn't tell anybody this, right? So he's like, "Man, there's blood everywhere." And Bobby's really, really concerned that he's going to have legal problems and So he's like, I talked to him and everything's fine. The guy, everything's fine. There was no problems. Everything was fine. It just turned into a great story. So I told him, I was like, dude, I was like, you're the only other person I've ever heard that actually knows about this too. So he confirmed that he showed up. There's blood everywhere. So that's our Grandmaster Bobby Tabata. He's the real deal. He doesn't like to exchange ideas if he doesn't know you, because he's old school.
It is something that I expect in a comic strip.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just came to life.
Oh man, so that was just crazy story, and we had a lot of fun with that story. So that turned into a lesson for me. He asked me about being disarmed and things like that. I was like, Bobby, he was a guest of one of my students. My student said, hey, I got this guy. He travels around a lot teaching Filipino martial arts. I'd love to bring him to your dojo so he can show you what he does. I was like, yeah, because I'm just like, yeah, cool. Let's bring him in. Let's see. Right. Remember the abundance theory, right? I'm like,
yes,
sure.
Exactly. Yes.
Ideas, whatever. So he shows up and he's got this big giant bag full of stuff and he just dumps it out on the mats. I mean, there's like 100 weapons that came out of this guy's bag. I'm like, what? So he's going all kinds. So when he started going like this, I knew exactly what he was saying, because this guy just gets all weird and crazy and whatever. So then I was like, hey, I'd love to share with you some of the Balintawak stuff that he's, I already know Balintawak. I was like, really? Oh, you know Balintawak? You study Balintawak? And turned out he just did a seminar.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So he already knew it. And so he didn't want me to show him. And so he's like, well, let me show you some of my disarms. I was like, all right, cool. So he shows me one of his disarms. I was like, all right, that's cool. This is our disarm. He disarms me. And so it's very friendly exchange, right? Well, it turns out that this guy was using that to kind of cast a shadow on me and telling people that he disarmed Ormaza, and I didn't like it. And I made a big scene about it. And that's not what happened. This guy was a guest at my dojo, and we were freely exchanging. So when he's picking up his teeth, that's the first thing he said. Why Ormaza have bad attitude when I disarm him? So Bobby's like, Ormaza? He's like, I gotta have bad attitude. He's friendly, man. He's a friendly guy. Yeah. So he's like, whatever, man. Just pick up your teeth. Let's go. So Bobby told us one time, we were down in Florida for the World Socket Council Hall of Fame.
All right.
This was 2006 or so. And he nominated me to be Man of the Year. Earlier that year, I was one of the first people to bring Filipino martial arts into Cali in Colombia. And so I demonstrated. So I did a big group. He was very proud of that. And he's like, I think that's good. You should, Man of the Year award. So we were all hanging around at the hotel, and that story came up. And a lot of the FQIs were together. And he brought up that particular story. And he said that, if you are in a demonstration environment, or if you're a guest at someone's school, don't let anybody take your stick. Don't let them disarm you without permission. And you give permission out loud so that everyone hears that this is something that you are allowing them to do. Because if not, they could turn it against you. They can say, hey,
that's true. That's true.
So fast forward a few years later, I found myself in that position. So I was at this training camp at the beach, and there's this one very famous modern Arnis practitioner, great guy, and I don't mind saying his name because he's cool. We laughed about it. His name is Doug Pierre, and Doug Pierre is modern Arnis and done some. I think he's done some Pikiti. I'm not sure, but he's a world champion stick fighter and whatever, big luminary. He was teaching a seminar. And he wanted to use me because he knew I had Filipino background and whatever. So he goes to do a snake disarm out of nowhere. So I hit his shoulder and pulled my stick out. And I was like, wait, what are you doing? I was like, were you going to disarm me? He's like, yeah, is everything all right? I was like, yeah, of course. Listen, I'm sorry. I give you permission to take my stick. And he takes a step back and he goes, you really are one of Bobby's guys. All right. I didn't know which way it was going to go. Like if he was going to be upset. Yeah. But no, he respected it. He goes, oh, you really are one of Bobby's guys. He's like, well done. And then he went on to explain that to the rest of the group, how in Filipino culture, you just don't do that. And that he's like, I should have asked if it's okay to take his stick. He's like, but I didn't do it. And so I'm glad he told me that. Yeah, man, that's the big story for sure.
Well, definitely. Oh, Team Franco's here. Wow. Just that fact that you have to think about doing that permission.
Yeah, that's right. For sure. Yeah, exactly. Due to some people, exactly, Dean.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Wow. These are basically great stories, man. Thank you for
Cool.
sharing them. Thank you for
That's my
sharing them.
pleasure.
Okay, so you're a full-time martial arts instructor and you have your own gym, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how did you start? How long have you been basically running your own gym as well?
So in my teens, I really one of the senseis that I was training with was allowing me to teach some of his kids' classes, do some of the birthday parties,
Yeah.
and things like that. So I was like, man, this is really cool. Like I really enjoy doing this, and I see myself doing this. And so I built a vision in my mind at a very young age already. I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. So when I moved to North Carolina in 1996, I had already been out of school for several years because I dropped out of high school as a freshman and in ninth grade. And that was a big secret that I kept for many years because, when you're growing up in those days, even still, it's a little weird, but
A little bit, yeah.
yeah. But back then it was like, if you drop out of high school, you're going to be in jail, a drug addict or a criminal,
Yeah, that's true.
a nobody. And I'm like, and I was the opposite. So that's why I can relate to Bobby when he says my education is my stick. So my education is my martial arts journey. I didn't go back to school. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to university. None of that. I just studied martial arts, and I worked a lot of odd jobs, construction, warehouse work, restaurant stuff. I did a lot of different jobs. But the whole time I was studying martial arts. I was reading books. I was partnering up with mentors that were already successful in martial arts, and they were guiding me towards opening my first academy. So my first gig as an instructor was at the local college, the Gaston County Community College here in town. So high school dropout becomes a college instructor. Go figure, right? So I'm teaching martial arts for the first time, earning money. And it's for their what's called their CEU program, the Continuing Education Unit program. So they can collect those and they add up to credits and things like that. So then I started working towards opening a clubhouse inside of an apartment complex nearby. It was a town over. And so I did this whole big grand opening, marketing. And I was just like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I in my head, I saw people, it was full, it was already successful in my mind. So on the grand opening day, I had 0 people show up. Not one. I was crushed. I was like, this is the worst thing ever. This is not what I envisioned. This is not what I imagined. And I'm normally a very optimistic person. I'm very realistic, but optimistic. And that really hurt. That crushed my ego, my spirit. Everything. I was just beat up. I was like, this is, so I didn't open the club. I said, you know what? I'm done. I threw a big fit, for a couple days. And my wife being amazing, she's like, all right, you done whining? You done crying? Let's do this. So we were driving by on our way to the flea market, this big giant brick building. And she's like, let's go check that place out. I was like, no way. Look how big it is. We'll never be able to afford that. So I was being pessimistic now.
Yeah,
reserved. So one day she was hounding me about it, and I pulled in there fast, kind of pissed off. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll look inside. So I look inside the window, and I saw it. I saw that was the vision I had been having for a very long time. It was there. So I set up a meeting with the landlord and his wife. Very strange meeting. They sat us in corners, and it was weird, just a very bizarre experience. So I'm telling her how, I'm going to teach martial arts for families and this and that, and it's going to be great for the community. And the first thing she says, well, I've had a lot of businesses start here, and they all sound just like you, and they all failed. What makes you think you're going to survive? I'm like, by that time, I'm sinking in my chair, like, well, I'm looking at the door. I'm looking at Debbie. That's my wife, Debbie. I'm like, I think we need to get out of here. This is not going to work out. So right as I was about to be like, well, listen, thanks for your time. I'm out of here. She's like, well, look, you have something about you that is very magnetizing, and I just believe in the youth. You're a young guy. I'm going to give you a shot. So next thing you know, I've got a 4,000 square foot dojo in Dallas, North Carolina, and I had my grand opening on June the 2nd of 2001. So I've been in business now for 21 years. We were in that same location for 16 years.
Wow.
We ended up taking over the whole building. At one point, I had almost 9,000 square feet, and then we ended up moving into this facility that we're in now 5 years ago, which is another very big facility with multiple rooms and things like that. And my dream came true. You know, it really did. It's something that started as a teen, and I had all the odds against me. High school dropout. My parents were divorced. I was a misfit. You know, as an immigrant, I'm trying to find my way. So all growing up, I'd hang out with the jocks, with the homies, with the skaters, with the punk rock kids, with the metal kids, always trying to find my place. I never really quite fit in until martial arts and skateboarding. Those were the two things that in martial arts, I had friends from all walks of life. In skateboarding, I had friends from all walks of life. And I began to just love being around people and being creative, exploring art, helping people, seeing them grow and things like that. And so, yeah, it turned into a wonderful business and a wonderful life.
Wow. Must have been a journey.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Very fast-paced journey. Before long, we were making a lot of money. We didn't have kids, so we're like eating sushi every day. We're like doing all the things that, you know, when you grow up not having any money,
Yeah.
start doing it all, man. And then we started having kids. We're like, oh, okay, we need to tone this down and start.
Of course, priorities are changing.
Yeah. And you know, we had some ups and downs, of course, with the 2008 recession, almost took us out. And then, of course, COVID, really, that was the most, the hardest challenge we've ever faced was dealing with COVID and the mandates here that were in place in North Carolina.
Did you also do like Zoom lessons during COVID?
I did. It was brand new to me. I had never done it before. And it was a terrible time to get into it because everything was expensive. You know, everyone was buying up the cameras, everyone was buying up laptops, like all the equipment that you needed to have a good Zoom session was 3-4 times the cost. So I'm buying eBay and pawn shops, and I'm like, so I finally got set up, and my students, my martial arts part of the business went completely virtual. So it was Zoom only. And then the after school program became an all day situation where we went to the Department of Health and Human Services and applied for an emergency childcare permit so that we can continue to run because this was in March of 2020. And so we still had March, April, and May of school. So what happened was we became a virtual academy during those 3 months through this permit. So we were able to stay open, and we were able to also offer help to our local community because we were like, how do we give back? You know, what can we do to help? So the only people working at the time were first responders. So you had you know, police and all that. So they still had to work. They still needed childcare. So we had all day childcare, which was with virtual academy. So like schoolwork. So now all of a sudden, instead of it being a 2 to 6 o'clock job, a 4-hour job, it was an all day, like 14-hour job. Now my wife and the staff, we're all learning how to run these platforms on Zoom, Canvas, all these different things. So essentially we became teachers. Like now we're teaching kids scholastic things. So it was
okay. That's crazy. Brilliant, man.
Yeah. And so then we're like, all right, we have 8 spots left. Let's offer it to the first responder community for free. So we had a couple of police officers' kids, a couple of nurses' kids, a couple of firemen's kids. They all came and they took advantage of that offer. And we felt really good because like, all right, we could help. This is how we gave back to the community.
Exactly.
So that's how we managed the whole time until we were able to slowly start to integrate classes in person, and then finally we opened fully again. And now, as of this year, we're just absolutely rocking it. We're almost at 200 active members. Our monthly grosses are phenomenal, and we feel so blessed. Like every day, we just say our prayers and offer God
Yeah.
and the universe all of our energy and gratitude for the blessings. Because I have friends that weren't so lucky, that lost everything, not just in martial arts, but in a lot of different
Yeah.
businesses. And it just breaks my heart about those situations. And at the same time, it fills my heart that we were strong enough through our community to survive together.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But at least you did the right move. You managed to help a lot of people, especially the first responders, because otherwise they won't be able to do their job properly. Knowing that they would have to uh, they would have to be concerned too much or where to leave their kids as well.
Right.
So that's actually nice that you managed to do that. Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Um, with your training, you also managed to include internal training and also do some healing. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, so that's basically how you balance yourself with. So how did you get into it more, and basically what journey did it take you?
So I got into internal arts um, as a teenager. I was a member of a group called the Dragon Society International, and they are a technical support group for martial arts systems where they share how to enhance your martial arts study through martial science. And martial science comes in both Eastern and Western
Mhm.
modalities. So the Eastern modality was the study of Qigong, energetics, the theories of yin and yang, five element, things like that, internal arts, healing arts. And
Yep.
so that's where like I really was like, wow, this is fascinating to me, because for me to be a good martial artist, to be the best martial artist I can, I need to understand the body. I need to know it. I need to know it and see it differently. So
That's
I would read old classics from the Xingyi Chuan manuals or the Tai Chi Chuan manuals, where they would often refer to practitioners of high level as having X-ray vision. So when I was little reading this, I'm thinking like comic book stuff, like X-ray
Mhm.
vision, like Superman, But I didn't understand at the time. But then when I started learning about anatomy and physiology and energetics, now I understood. Because instead of,
Yeah.
for example, me punching you with a left hook to the ribs, now in my mind's eye, I can see my punch hitting your liver, compressing into the diaphragm, and
Yep.
hitting the heart in one shot. Boom. So now my mind goes into the body. And so, like, it's the same philosophy like when you're breaking boards or coconuts, like, you can't just be superficial about it. In your
Yep.
mind's eye, you have to go through it, and then your body can get you there. So I started, my martial arts became a lot better when I understood that idea. So then when I started studying internal arts, Qigong in particular, I started becoming very I started developing a very whippy kind of strength where
Soft.
I can hit
Yeah.
hard and from a
Yeah.
short distance, like boom,
Yeah.
and so my martial arts started to get enhanced. But the real fruit from it came from when I started using it to balance the dark energy you create when you're studying how to hurt people, how to kill people, how to maim people. It really does. It can get very dark in your mind and in your in
Yeah.
your in your energy. So I found myself balancing that energy with healing arts. So then, ever since I was little, my dad would always, my mom would be like, "Oh, did you get hurt? Go see your dad." So he'd, do some very primitive massage, but he would heal. He would put his hand on it to heal. He taught us
All
heal.
right.
So I've always been like that. I was that kid in school. Like if someone had a headache, I'd be like, "Hey, can I put my hand on your head?" And I would think like take the pain away. And how do you feel? Like, oh, thank you, right? Whether it was working or not, in my head it was, right. So I was always thinking that way. And then when I really started learning real good technique. Had a lot of mentors teaching me about deep tissue massage, bone setting, energetic work, things like that. That I really got into healing people and working on people, and it just became such a great balance for my life, because I had spent so much time being dark in my mind that this
Yeah.
light really made it like a yin and yang experience, balanced everything out.
Yeah. Plus, it's a good. It's not just, yeah. It's besides balancing it. Basically, it allows you to interact with people in a different way. Not always thinking of the
Yes.
different ways how to like break their bones, dislocate their joints, or cause muscle pain. But this time, the other way around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also while doing technique, I can now visualize, like if I'm doing a wrist lock, I can now visualize the tendon ligament structure
Yeah.
stretching
Exactly.
and rip
Yeah.
and pull and on and on. So
Yeah.
so it just became amazing. Same thing with like knife work. Now, once I understood the circulatory system, I
Yeah.
knew how to quickly access arteries and major targets, because I
Yeah.
understood. But I now had
It's
X-ray
much
vision.
better. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually like it makes a visualization work better for you because you
Yes.
understand it more now from the physiological perspective.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
And
really
one of
nice.
the highlights, one of the highlights is when I'm training and around some very amazing people, that they catch wind of this, so they ask if I can work on them. So I've worked on like Richard Bustillo, I've worked on Macbagal, I've worked on Casio, and all these awesome guys that they're just so grateful. Like they're like, oh, I haven't been able to move this shoulder in 2 months, and I get in there and make some adjustments and
Yeah.
move the tissue around. And they're like, whoa, Ormaza, this is awesome. And that fills my heart, man. I'm like, that's
Of
great.
course.
That they're like, I
Of
can move
course.
my arm. I can, I feel great. Thank you. And I'm like, oh, there's no money for that. That you can't pay
No,
enough for that, man. That's
exactly.
spiritual,
Exactly.
man.
Exactly. 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 And that's also good karma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen to
Wow.
that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think we got any more questions, and I forgot. I haven't left any comments here. Frank Zong, Guro Alex.
Oh, Frank. He's up in Jersey. Shout out to Frank. He's one of my brother Jeff Soriano's students.
All
And
right.
he's now from here in Winston-Salem, but he moved up to New Jersey, which is my old hometown, right, or home state, and is now a teacher working up there. And he's got a Balintawak club up there too. So shout out to Frank Zong.
All right. Oh, it looks like you've got a new client. Dean said, "When I come to see Vico, can you work on my right shoulder?"
I got you, my brother. I got you. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure.
Yeah. Oh, Paul Rosales is in the house.
What's up,
Hello,
Paul?
guys.
Florida in the house. Cool.
Okay. I did. I don't have any more questions here, and pretty much I've basically like we've laid the talking points. Basically that I've planned. So unless you've got any other stories that you want to share us, I know you've got some more there, but
Well, maybe that's a part two.
all right, or not.
We
I'm
could do a
open for
part
that.
two and do some more demos and some more cool stuff
Yeah,
that we
that would be
do.
great, man. That would be
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
maybe get into some more of the stick boxing stuff that we do, or maybe even share some of the
Oh,
estocada campo techniques that we do too. They're training drills that are really awesome.
yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Speaking of demos, Eric Harris actually.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Uh,
my man Eric. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. On
All right.
chair. Will you be able to
Got it.
do it?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so let me get set up here, and I got one for Eric for
Sorry,
sure.
Eric. I almost forgot it. And I know
Yeah.
there's something that I forgot.
All right, Sensei, come on over here. Tilt this down just a little bit. All right, so shout out to Eric. He's an awesome, very dedicated martial arts practitioner. He's a martial arts practitioner in a wheelchair, so he's got to get very creative with his techniques, and I'd love to just share a couple of different things with him that can add to his his progression and his journey and in Balintuak. And so one of the things that G and Bobby, bye Miss Debbie. But one of the things that G and Bobby has always taught us is that we should incorporate what we already know from our previous styles into our Balintuak. So for me, like that, one of the things that I love about that is because it's back to what we were talking about earlier, the abundance theory. There's enough for everybody. There's no need to be small-minded or oust people or say, oh, well, you can't do that. If you're karate, you can't do FMA. And he's like, no, whatever it is you do, I want you to do it into your style. So that's why when you see a lot of these FQI practitioners present their techniques, they incorporate their karate, kung fu, muay thai, jujitsu, whatever. So when I thought about Eric, I thought about sharing with him some of the techniques that I had developed through my martial arts journey to level 7, full qualified instructor, that involved joint locking. So in Okinawa, we call it tuite, and China's is chinna, and of course, just joint locking. So one of the things that we do is when I'm here, so come on, I'll just feed you here. So we just play normal, right? But when I come in and I do, for example, check here and check high, I see fingers there, so now I can grab and bring them down. See? So now, no matter what, I've got control of that hand. So if he tries to hit me with that stick, he can't, because I'm cranking here, see? I can also use this to pass, and now I got the back of the head. Boom. Right? So one more time. So here. There, see, and bang, I can hit right here. See, so just using basic finger lock that I learned in my karate training, right? So maybe switch sides so you can see the actual lock itself happen. So now, right there. So it's just quick, pound, and I can take that head. I can also bring him in with that. So one more time. So I come in with my 6 here, boom. He checks that up there. I can bring him in. And now I have my chokes. And we can just sit here and chill. He goes hit me with that stick. Nothing. See? Disarm. And now I can just play.
Yep, base.
Something else I could do is coming in again. So anytime that we do our lay-ons this way and I go to hit here, I can use this as a trap as well. So I pull him in. Now I come through and I can throw him because his arm's locked here. So
it's like a jujigarami.
So I'll show you how that goes a little bit quicker. Here. I kept his arm, and then again, I can just sit here and start to hit his face. See? And then there's other things where I can go low line as well. So anytime that come on closer. See, I see how that leg is. Now from here, I can, on my way to do disarm, boom, I come in this way. So now I got a nice calf crusher. I'll go slow. See? So on my way to disarm, I take it there and bring them down. So I'll show you one more time. There. See? Now I got that. I come in here and take that ankle real quick. Boom. I hope you like those, Eric. That was for you, my man. Shout out to Carlito Bonjac, also Terminator. Here, awesome technique. I learned so much from him too, just watching how he operates. And one of the things that I didn't have a chair to move with, but you can, once you lock, you can use that wheel to turn, and that creates that lock and really get them to start.
That's gonna dig in tight.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
So,
awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely we're gonna have a part 2, man.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. This
Definitely,
was
we're gonna
great.
have a part two.
I'm glad I got to share a couple of the stories. I'm going to put a few more back into the pocket for later for another time.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely, definitely,
I got
definitely.
some great stories with Rodel Dagok from the Philippines.
All
I
right.
got some great stories with Malmorny and us staring at the stars, talking about some really wild stuff that just, this is what we do. When you get creators
Yeah,
together, the conversations are fantastic and the
yeah,
stories are awesome. So
yeah,
and a lot more, of course. So
yeah. Positive energy all around, man. Positive
absolutely,
energy. Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So that's it. It's 2 hours.
Already, wow,
Already, yeah.
fantastic,
So definitely we're
fantastic.
gonna have a part two. So, I mean, as parting words, okay, for the FMA community, I know you have already shared quite a lot. Okay, you have dropped some wisdom and gems to the FMA community with all the things that you've shared. But to basically to summarize it or to basically put it in your own words, okay, what are the things that um, maybe advice that you can give to the FMA community?
Well, it's represented in the tattoo that we get on our thumb when we achieve level 7 in Balentuak Arnis Quentada, and that is in the form of 2 dots. And those 2 dots represent brotherhood and friendship. And the FMA community is built exactly on that. It is a brotherhood, a sisterhood, it's a family culture that is all encompassing with respect, with love, with the idea of uplifting each other. And we live in a world where it's very easy to tear each other down, to be judgmental, to not allow others to seek their full potential. But us in the FMA community, we want to do the opposite of that. We want to uplift each other. We want to nurture each other. We want to understand that a friendship is a gift. It is a human gift that is priceless. If a human gives you their friendship, honor it. Show loyalty. Show respect. Understand that friendship has no monetary value. It is a spiritual gift. And so when we have these 2 dots on our thumb representing brotherhood and friendship, we understand that in life, in the Filipino martial arts, it's understood that that's how we have to operate. We have to uplift each other. We grow together. We push each other to the top. We celebrate each other's victories. We look towards the future as a team. Jim Bobby likes to say there is no who's who. We are, all of us are a who's who. We're collectively one strong bonded unit, and that's how we should operate when we go to places. We show this love, we show this friendship, we show this camaraderie, we welcome it, we encourage it, we nurture it. And so the FMA community is really big, a big part of that experience, and really martial arts in general. But I've noticed that the Filipino community it's almost like a Latino community where very spiritually wealthy people, just come from humble beginnings. So our what we value more is untangible things like
Yeah,
friendship,
that's
loyalty,
very
and
true.
love. So when we can give these untangible things to other people collectively as the human species, we can grow again. We can grow to meet with this universal consciousness of love and acceptance. And that way, wherever you go, you have a friend. We don't have to. I don't have to speak Tagalog. I don't have to speak Uchinaguchi. But if I swing a stick, if I do a kata, and you do too, we're gonna be friends because we speak with our energy. And so
Yes.
that's really the fruit of my experience on a spiritual level is we have to continue to nurture that brotherhood and friendship and value it as a real priceless intangible commodity.
Yeah. You just put it really well. Very well said. Very well said.
Thank you, brother.
Completely agree. So I do hope that the FMA community is listening on that.
Awesome.
It's
Awesome.
it's 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 a it's one of, I think it's one of the uh important things that we have to bear in mind in this community. The one that you just said. It's all about brotherhood. It's all about friendship. It's
Definitely.
about lifting everybody up, not putting people down.
Yes,
So,
sure.
and it's very common in the industry today. It's easy to put people down,
Hmm.
especially social media.
Yes,
So we have to be responsible and respectful to each other. Yeah.
definitely, brother. I have a couple of quick things I want to say before we go, Sensei.
Sure. Sure.
First, just a couple of quick plugs. Of course, make sure you guys, if you're interested in learning the Tabata Balintawak system, please visit Grandmaster Bobby Tabata's website at gmbobbytabata.com. And he's got videos that you can upload. Excuse me, that you can upload. Of course, check out his YouTube channel, which is full of all kinds of great things. And this one right here, thanks. And they're all from his garage, right? So we meet on Wednesday mornings, Saturday mornings, and sometimes randomly. Like he's the kind of guy he'll call you out of nowhere, be like, "Ormaza, what are you doing?" I'm nothing, Grandmaster. I'm just hanging out. Okay, you come to the house in this afternoon. The Virginia guys are here, or the DC guys are here, or the Florida guys are here. So he calls up his dogs, man. We show up, hoo hoo, let's go, and we have these amazing training sessions. And he snippets a lot of those and puts them on his YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go to his YouTube channel. It's really awesome. My
Right.
YouTube channel is I Love Balintawak. I also have a Facebook page, I Love Balintawak. And I'm trying to get better at uploading more content, but what's on there right now is still pretty cool, and
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's a lot of things that I've done over the years. So we got a couple of great events coming up in June. On June 16th through the 19th, we have our Shurite Buchitsukai International Conference. This will be held here in Fort Mill, South Carolina, here in America, and it is an incredible event hosted by Kyoshi Troy Price or Hanshi Troy Price. And it's over 30 of the most amazing instructors. Some highlighted luminaries in the Filipino martial arts in particular is Sean Zerger. He will be there teaching at this event. Let's see, Master Scott will also be there. Myself, of course, but it's also karate, jujitsu, law enforcement kind of training, like combatives, field training, things like that. So a great event. You can find more information
Sounds
about that
awesome.
at the sbkma.com, or look up Troy Price.
Yeah.
His YouTube channel is fantastic. And then in Germany this year, Bobby Tabata will be back. So he will be
Wow.
there on September 17th and 18th. He'll be headlining with Dieter Noodle from the Modern Arnis lineage. So they're already almost sold to capacity, if I'm not mistaken. There's over 100 tickets already sold. It's going to be a freaking amazing time. It'll be the first time Bobby's back in Germany in a long time. The last time he was there, he killed it. He was there with Robert Klampfer. If you haven't seen that footage, look it up. Robert Klampfer and Bobby Tabata Germany demonstration. It was fire. So good. So, and the last thing I want to do is dedicate. I don't know if this is a twisty or not. No. Okay, hold on. Let me.
You're gonna sing.
Filipino magic. All right, so I want to make a special toast with a red horse.
Hey!
To all of the
Man,
FMA discussion podcast brothers that make this happen, Dean
thank you
Franco,
very much.
yourself, here for the team. I also want to make a toast to all of my Balintawak brothers and sisters, to all of my FMA brothers and sisters, to all the martial artists in the world, and especially to Nick Elazar and the Nickel Stick Balintawak. They just celebrated 19 years. I've been at his home, trained at his home. I've sang with him. I've broken bread with him. I've trained with him. Master Norman, Neil, Nympha, the whole crew. I love you guys. So cheers to all of you. This is for you.
Cheers.
Salud.
Salud. Kampai.
Come by. Thank you, everybody. Please reach out to me for any questions, anything you need. I'm here for you. And one love, my friends. One love.
Yeah. Oh, Alex, if you
Yes,
can
sir.
send the link to all those announcements, either in the comment section or post it in FMA discussion.
Perfect.
Feel free
Yes,
to do
great
so.
idea. I will do so.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Thank you very much. In behalf of the FMA discussion admins, moderators, and the FMA community, thank you very much for being our guest. And so much looking forward to the part 2.
Thank you, brother. From my heart, you're welcome. With respect.
Right.
Okay, guys.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Okay,
you so
and see
much.
you next time, man. See you next
Bye,
time.
guys.
Stay safe.
Adios.
Bye. Right. So thank you very much, Guru Alex Ormaza, for the great interview. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. And I think there's going to be an announcement soon for the May guest list. But again, guys, please remember on the 15th of May, we are going to have the raffle for the Ukrainian charity. Okay? This is Guru Tom Pena. Have a nice evening and enjoy this month. Bye.